Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to A Realm Reborn Restart. Now in patch 5.3, A Realm Reborn is going to be getting a revamp, where they're going to be pruning down the number of quests and also adjusting the quests overall to make the process more streamlined for new players. Mostly because the developers said a lot of people do quit right when they get to 2.1, and they have to do the long string of quests that come after that. So what I'm going to do is, before patch 5.3, I'm going to replay through A Realm Reborn patch 2.0 to 2.55 and see approximately how long it would take a new player nowadays to do that, and we'll compare it to that after 5.3 comes out, where I'll essentially do the same thing again. So for the video series here on YouTube, I'm basically going to be giving you summaries of my day-to-day progress for A Realm Reborn Restart. I am live streaming this on Twitch, but it just didn't seem like the right choice to take my Twitch highlights and upload them to YouTube and act like it was suddenly a series. Instead, I'm going to be giving you the summaries of highlights of that day, what we managed to accomplish in what amount of time, and any little bits of advice that I would give people in that same period of time based on either what I experienced that I feel like I did well versus things that definitely could have been a little bit better. So this being episode 1 of my chronicles of A Realm Reborn Restart, I feel it's important for us to establish the rules of this series. Now it's important to note this is not a speed run of A Realm Reborn. I am not trying to complete it as quickly as possible, though no doubt that even comparing this to your average new player, I will complete it faster because I understand the game's systems and where to go, and I won't take nearly as long to get things done, most likely. But that being said, I still wanted to establish some rules so we could make sure to slow my pace down as much as possible while completing A Realm Reborn. So here are the rules. Rule number 1, we are completing everything from 2.0 to 2.55's main scenario quests, that is level 1 to 50, plus all of the quests that lead up to Heavensward, ending with the final quest before we would be shipped off to Ishgard. We will also be completing the Crystal Tower series of quests, as well as the A Realm Reborn job quest. The Crystal Tower series will be mandatory for main scenario progression in patch 5.3 from here on out, and not just for patch 5.3 itself, but for everybody. So I feel like it's important to add that in so we have a scale of what to compare it against when we go back and do it in 5.3. Now, as for what job I was going to do this challenge on, this was kind of a tough decision. Of course, my instinct was to go tank or healer because I could get instant queues into dungeons and get through kind of the slogs of the main scenario when needed. However, because of my advanced knowledge of the way the game works, and I expect that will increase my pace overall compared to an average player, I actually thought that going a DPS job would be the best choice just to slow me down. So I chose Thaumaturge as my starting class and will be advancing that on to Black Mage. I won't be picking up Samurai or Red Mage at 50, though honestly it would fit perfectly fine inside of this challenge, because as long as a new player has those expansions installed, they would be able to access these right as they hit level 50. So since I chose Black Mage, you'd think maybe I'd just grab someone, a tank or a healer, get myself some quicker queues, but we're deliberately going to be doing solo queue only for this entire experience. Again, not every new player has the option of hopping in with friends and getting a queue. Not all of them can join a free company and just ask if anyone wants to queue for a dungeon or a roulette. We're going for the longest possible new player experience here. As we're advancing through the game, we're not allowed to skip any cutscenes either. I also heavily debated this, but I think that a new player, I would most likely recommend they take their time and enjoy the story. So while I haven't seen these quests in a while, I figured it might be nice to see it. Besides, if they do make any changes to the number of cutscenes, even just the little dialogue ones in patch 5.3, it'd be nice to have a frame of reference for what was different here. Now, most importantly, as someone who's played this game for years, I have amassed a great number of items via Mog Station purchases, pre-orders, and a ton of things that could really speed up the process. So I had to eliminate as many of those things as possible. What we landed on was this: the final rule, no experience point boosts with timed availability. Now, a lot of things fall into that category. For one, no preferred world bonus. Now, if you enter a server that is labeled as a preferred world, you actually get a massive experience point buff in the form of the Road to 70 buff. This will last either 90 days or until the server that you're on is no longer preferred, whichever of these periods is actually longer. We eliminated that by just picking a very populated server in that of Gilgamesh and making the character very early in the morning. We also decided that we would very heavily limit the number of experience boosting items that I am able to use. A big example is no pre-order items, specifically the Aetheryte earring that came from pre-ordering the Shadowbringers expansion. This would give me an EXP boost and a lot of stats all the way up to 70 if I were to take it that high. And we just want to avoid that because it's not something someone who picked up the game now could have. We also wanted to eliminate Mog Station items that specifically boosted experience point gain, such as the Far Eastern set. Now, of course, I have items in my mailbox such as mounts and minions that may come from that, but those aren't going to give me any advantage here. I am avoiding using anything like my veteran rewards for the Aetheryte tickets and gold chocobo feathers from Recruit a Friend. I also won't be using my friendship circlet because, again, a new player who didn't do Recruit a Friend wouldn't have something like this, so we're cutting that out of the equation too. Essentially, just the Helm of Light, which would come with the A Realm Reborn Collector's Edition, which seems fitting considering what I'm doing here, as well as free company buffs, which I did get invited to a free company around level 12, because I would recommend a new player join a free company that has an experience point buff, and it's a reasonable thing to think that a player might find in their goals going from 1 to 50. Of course, I'm going to get rested experience points every day between playing. That's going to play a role into it as well, but there's nothing I can do about that. I could, I guess, sit outside of an Aetheryte or any sort of area that would give me rested experience, but that just seems kind of like an arbitrary restriction and not something that actually makes me feel like I'm slowing myself down for the sake of getting the accurate speed of a new player. So now that I've given you my suffering in audio form, I want to highlight some of my day 1 advancements. So for day 1, we only played for about 4.5 hours, and in that time we did get quite a bit done. First of all, in day 1, we leveled from 1 to 16, but only completed up to approximately the level 11 main scenario quests. Man, I forgot how little voice acting there actually was in the very early A Realm Reborn main scenario. I know it's hit or miss pretty much the entire time, but man, the first voice acting I heard was part of the intro cutscene, and then this was the very next voice acting I heard like 6 or 7 levels later.
Oh, Sultan Tree, hallowed spirit.
Why is this
of my
cutscene
line,
voiced
forgive
of all
my
of them?
weakness. My failings have cost us dear.
We also went through unlocking a bunch of features. We're still in that process because we are a decent bit ahead of the main scenario, so we haven't gotten to unlocking things like the challenge log in Limsa Lominsa because we started over in Ul'dah for Thaumaturge. We of course got the hunting log because we are doing our level 1 to 15 class quest in this time, and with the hunting log we did the level 1 to 10 mobs as well as about 60 to 70% of the level 11 to 20 range. We of course made sure to go out of our way to unlock guild hests. We even did a roulette as well as the first 2 missions, but we haven't done the level 15 missions just yet. I also made sure to unlock Leave Quest, and I did the Horizon Leave Quest unlock as well. Next will be the Drybone Leave Quest unlock, as well as the challenge log, so we should get a decent amount of experience points rolling in, especially for our day-to-day schedule, as opposed to playing like a 12 to 16 hour grind fest. Now, one thing I found myself actually getting wrapped up in, and this was almost non-deliberate, were most of the level 1 to 12 side quests in the Ul'dah starting area. I kind of reminded why the side quests were designed the way they were, and it was smarter than I remember it being. A lot of the times, side quests would literally just take me from point A to B to C to D, chaining side quests together for the first 4 or 5 levels. It took me to every location I would have to unlock an Aetheryte or Aethernet inside of Ul'dah itself, and the quests just strung together in such a point that it pretty much got me to level 4, almost level 5, before I even had to fight a single monster. This I do actually remember from making a new character way back when, but it was nice to see that it is actually designed in a super intelligent way, and something that I've kind of lost appreciation for since I do skip a ton of side quests nowadays. It's just not something I find myself doing. However, because of our rule to no longer skip cutscenes, that also includes any dialogue that's actually happening in side quests. I am actually just letting it automatically play the dialogue instead of me clicking through it when I'm done reading it. It means reading it out loud. Sometimes I'm a little too slow for the auto scroll, but it means that I've gotten to experience some quests and stories that I just honestly forgot about entirely. One such one was when we went to the Silver Bazaar, an area just outside Ul'dah over in western Thanalan, where the residents were fighting to defend their homes from being demolished along with the rest of the bazaar. Heck, I just tore down legal documents that said they were going to evict and demolish all the buildings, and apparently that's legally binding enough for the game to just never change the Silver Bazaar. It makes mention of them building something larger and greater and something that is really a home to them, so it was kind of unfortunate that after all this time, the Silver Bazaar is still pretty much just the dirt heap that it is, but at least it's the residents' dirt heap. We also made sure to go around and just generally kind of mess around. I didn't want to have one straight direction. I didn't want to have one route. I kind of wanted to just wander and kind of think to myself, well, should I go do this or should I go do that? Side quest over there first, or class quest over here, or maybe the main scenario because it's right here. There were plenty of points where I ran back and forth without doing anything of use in that 4.5 hours, and so I was pretty happy with the amount of progress we made overall. Because of that mistake that I made, I also did get a pretty great highlight that I'll just play in its entirety right here. I just need 3 more of these hammer beaks. Dude, that stone torch is gonna get this. I think we found what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. See what's happening? That stone torch is attacking that Syrphid cloud. But the Syrphid cloud gets just close enough to re-aggro the stone torch, but now it's out of its own existence range. It's out of its own aggro range, so the stone torch has to chase it back to its aggro range, but then that aggro range is the maximum aggro range of the stone torch. It's an endless battle. Look. Stone torch is like, okay, I'm done. The Syrphid cloud's like, what? You would come at me? You would attack me? Let me very slowly follow you back over here. Oh, you know what? I'm reaching the edge of my aggro range. I guess I just might as well turn around. Stone Torch is like, you dare threaten us? Oh, you approach me? Oh my god. It's literally an endless loop of an NPC chasing this mob only to get to its maximum range and turn around and go back the other way. It's an infinite loop that will never end. Nope, there he goes. There he goes. And this is gonna crash the server one day. And with that hilarious back and forth, that is pretty much the end of my day 1 of A Realm Reborn restart. Some things that we're going to be looking forward to doing in day 2. We've already mentioned unlocking the challenge log and doing more of the leave quest unlocks. We of course have to finish the hunting log. No doubt we'll be working on getting our mount, which is very, very quick to do nowadays and will be mandatory in patch 5.3, as well as unlocking our Grand Company and beginning to work on our Grand Company hunting log, as well as our Grand Company ranks, which I still suspect will be kind of an annoying thing to work on in this playthrough, but with the time with the DPS queues, I'm kind of hoping I have enough time to do some fates in between everything, and that will kind of make up for the amount of Grand Company seals I need. But it's been so long that maybe it's just not as bad as I remember. Now, I'll be chronicling all of these any day that I actually make any progress, so tune in for any hints, tips, and of course, be sure to share any of those in the comment section of the video below. I am also avoiding things like the mentor system, as well as having anyone in the open world help me with killing monsters. I had one person help me kill a single monster, and I made sure that it was abundantly clear that that would just defeat the entire purpose of everything going on here. But we are running into people in the open world, waving, of course getting pet because I'm playing a Lalafell, and all that good stuff. So it's been a pretty relaxing experience so far. I didn't expect myself to be so relaxed, but I guess the idea of A, us having so long before the next patch because of events in the world right now, and B, just not really having an end goal. I mean, I do have an end goal, but it's not to get to end game and level and gear. It's literally to, as casually as possible, tackle a game that I've been playing for years and years, and a part of that game that I've just kind of ignored for years and years that's getting a major revamp going forward. And I didn't expect it to be relaxing, and it really has been. I would encourage others to try this out before A Realm Reborn gets revamped in 5.3, and let me know what your adventures are like in the comment section of the video below. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and stay tuned for day 2, which will be coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.